August 14th, 2016, 20th Sunday in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the book of the prophet Jeremiah. In those days, the princes said to the king, "Jeremiah ought to be put to death. He is demoralizing the soldiers who are left in the city and all the people by speaking such things to them. He is not interested in the welfare of our people, but in their ruin." King Zedekiah answered, "He is in your power, for the king could do nothing with them." And so they took Jeremiah and threw him into the cistern of Prince Micaiah, which was in the quarters of the guard, letting him down with ropes. There was no water in the cistern, only mud, and Jeremiah sank into the mud. Ebed-melech, a court official, went there from the palace and said to him, "My lord king, these men have been at fault in all they have done to the prophet Jeremiah, casting him into the cistern. He will die of famine on the spot, for there is no more food in the city." Then the king ordered Ebed-melech the Cushite to take 3 men along with him and draw the prophet Jeremiah out of the cistern before he should die. The word of the Lord.
Of destruction, out of the mud of the swamp. He set my feet upon a crag, he made firm my steps. Lord, come to my aid, come to my aid. And he put a new song into my mouth, a hymn to our God. Many shall look on in awe and trust in the Lord. Lord, come to my aid, come to my aid. Though I am afflicted and poor, yet the Lord thinks of me. You are my help and my deliverer. Oh my God, hold not back. Lord, come to my aid, come to my aid.
A reading from the letter to the Hebrews. Brothers and sisters, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us rid ourselves of every burden and sin that clings to us, and persevere in running the race that lies before us, while keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus, the leader and perfecter of faith. For the sake of the joy that lay before him, he endured the cross, despising its shame, and has taken his seat at the right of the throne of God. Consider how he endured such opposition from sinners, in order that you may not grow weary and lose heart. In your struggle against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding blood. The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said to his disciples, I have come to set the earth on fire, and how I wish it were already blazing. There is a baptism with which I must be baptized, and how great is my anguish until it is accomplished. Do you think that I have come to establish peace on the earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. From now on, a household of 5 will be divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. A father will be divided against his son, and a son against his father. A mother against her daughter, and a daughter against her mother, and a mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. The Gospel of the Lord.
August 14th, the 20th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The first reading comes from the book of the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 38, verses 4 to 6 and 8 to 10. In this passage, we hear about how the king's leading men, his court, plot to kill Jeremiah. He has been speaking against the king and his regime because they haven't been following the law of the Lord. Therefore, he tells the people that they have to be punished by the Babylonians. They should not resist the invasion that's coming against them. This was considered to be treason. He's counseling the people not to fight for their freedom. And so they want to put him to death, and they throw him into a dried-up cistern where they hope he will die of starvation. When Ebed-Melech, a Cushite, somebody from Sudan, hears about this, he goes to the king and receives permission to give a bit of assistance to Jeremiah. So the irony in this passage is that it's the leaders of the Jews who plot to kill Jeremiah, and it's a foreigner who actually protects him. The second reading comes from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 12, verses 1 to 4. The author speaks about how there are many witnesses who call upon us to give witness to our faith. We're surrounded by all those souls of the people who have given witness to the Lord, and also by all those people who are still alive, who daily give witness by their testimony, by their lives. And they should be encouragement to us. And if that's not enough, then we should think of Jesus, who opposed sinners not by trying to kill them, but rather by dying out of love for them. If Jesus was willing to stand up for what was right, then we should also be willing to do so. So we should take courage from this and not worry about the opposition that we face, but rather give heroic witness to our faith. The Gospel is from Luke 12, 49 to 53. In this passage, we hear a little bit about what our witness to the faith will cost. That Jesus has not come into the world to bring peace to the world, but division. And in fact, he's brought a fire upon the earth, a fire of the Spirit, calling us to love even to the cost of dying for our faith. And so there will be division upon the earth, not because Jesus wants it, but rather because we will give witness to love, and those who don't want to choose love will oppose us. So it'll be father against son, son against father, mother against daughter, etc. That even within our families, there will be divisions, because if we stand up for what's true, then we will be opposed. We should be willing to pay their price, as we heard in the second reading, because Jesus is calling us to die to ourselves in order to live in Him. And may God bless us.